And we're on for a Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back. A pretty eventful session, starting to make some progress and looking like we need to consider some of these bigger type twos as giving us something off of the low for now. What's going on, everybody? Big shout out to the chat. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, October 25th. We're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, as I said, New York time. Great to have everybody. Listen, we're going to start it off with crypto today because we didn't spend much time on it yesterday, and we need to think about maybe something else with Ethereum that the software is kicking out. We have surprisingly back above 1400, and we have a Gartley that's been kicked out by the software that has essentially put a floor at 1225. And target one is 1489, so that's, I think, easily within reach with this little reaction. But because of everything of the last several months, I'm not going to expect much more than that and wait for, say, the next HSI signal, which is almost there. This little bump already is approaching overbought levels. But at least it stopped going down for now. So far, so good for October. But keep an eye on that. I would say the larger possibility, and again, here we go, stretching out to the end of the year, would obviously be a type 2 Gartley. That would satisfy, for me, if we came back and did 1,000 retest. That might satisfy a lot of long-term objectives, especially with the way this is shaping up. And remember, here we go. We have a beautiful phenomenon across the crypto sphere that are these back-to-back patterns. Small patterns inside of big zones going back over the last year or so, where the smaller pattern, it acts as a kind of like a focal point within the larger zone. And we could still spend many weeks going through the type 1, type 2 situation framework, but for now, that's a heck of a lot than, say, if we were busting new lows or we had nothing. Important stuff. And I always come back to the situation from 2018. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart. This still is the longer term backdrop of, what I would want to see, like long-term bullish bat pattern in Bitcoin that set off the 2018 low. And believe me, here you go. And here's the back-to-back. This is the refresher of what we're looking for in terms of historic harmonic precedent. That's a back-to-back, and that's weekly. Of course, that's a lot nicer than, say, a daily, but you go to Bitcoin, and even on Bitcoin, we're there with a big deep crab and then a shark, all of that 19,000 trying to floor it, trying to put a floor underneath there. Meanwhile, macro markets, NASDAQ, tech stocks trying to come off of some recent bottoms. They didn't capitulate. They didn't flush out. And as I said yesterday, I'm thinking reaction. Oversold bounce could be a sharp one, but at least with the structural things you have here, at a minimum, bouncing up, doing a counter trend bounce here would not surprise me. So far, so good. Crypto is the Ethereum situation is quite interesting. And then I brought up the couple of the bigger metaverse ones that are, sitting on massive patterns. There you go, Sandbox. Okay, it's taking 3 more months than we expected. But hey, back-to-back pattern, small pattern, big pattern, small pattern with confirmation. So if something happens in this space coming up, don't be surprised. We're going to get into a couple of tech stocks that are doing big things. Here's Riot Blockchain. I should be buying this probably right now. I should be probably buying that Riot Blockchain. Look at that. Deep crab, confirmation. Yeah. I have been in the market. I have been buying some call options recently. And I think Riot Blockchain, maybe that's a good one to look at. One moment. Yeah, I mean, Riot Blockchain's in a nice position here after the confirmation back in the zone. We'll want to take a look. Here's one or two more crypto. Here's this Ren. Boy, this thing is held firm. And this one, like a lot of those, are these massive retests. Where's that bat pattern? There you go. Bat pattern on a weekly. That's a new one. That's Ren. Here's another one. Where did you go? Sorry. Where's Solana? Sorry, I gotta scroll down here. Solana, right here. Oh, popping already. So I'm watching Solana carefully. You're sitting here. Here's the big bat pattern, okay? And you had another check back here. There are some signals here that basically says 30 bucks. The measured area is around 31 of where the confirmation should happen. Also, look at the zone for Solana here. We should be turning up. There's the check back, and you're trying to stabilize. All of that 3120 is the real number. Take a look at this. So here's amplified RSI, and this is something a lot of the crypto, they've been languishing for several weeks, but they're starting to move out. Got to get above the 50 level, and what we might be looking at is a delayed reaction. If we can push up, get above the 50, see some bullish price action, I mean probably just 2 days of bullish price action, that will trigger follow through, like we're seeing in S&P and NASDAQ. One moment. Thanks. That's a big one. And remember what I said about synthetics? Take a look at this. Just yesterday, I outlined synthetics. Let's go back to the chart. Go here on the daily. There you go. Extended butterfly, all of that, just under 215. Trying to pop. We did pop today, 232. But that's another one potentially in that spot where, look, at or just above $2, 220, you're looking for kind of a thrust reaction move to get back to minimum target 445. But they're there. They're back there now. We got to look. We got to start looking at these. A lot of them have been just languishing for weeks, but then they triggered towards the end of last week, checked back, and now doing a couple days follow through. Here's XRP. And XRP is one I want to follow closely because if we get a check back, if we're back at 45, how low did you get? 42. Looking for some kind of return move on XRP, but that would be it. Now you have a daily pattern that suggests, hey, maybe that's got to check back deeper before you go anywhere. The weekly is just a reactive bump. That's all that thing was last month on XRP. I would look for something back at 37 on XRP, no matter what crypto does. Kind of retest the bigger weekly level before you make another attempt. Just be aware of that. Let's look at the total crypto market caps, because I feel like they need a day. They need a big day out of this hole. Here's total. They need like a 3-bar breakout. They need you have been pinned against this 850 billion level. And again, this is where individual price action needs to come in. If you're looking at technicals, I need to see action in terms of 1 bar, and all of your stops can be bumped up. You shouldn't see any breakdown under 835 billion. And if we're going to get any kind of relief rally here with crypto, it has to start there. And of course, total 3 is, as we've mentioned several times, okay, probably the nicest of the 3 indices that we've been looking at. Big bat pattern, confirmation, everything there, around 350 billion. Again, I want to see over the next 2 or 3 weeks, certainly hold the lows, but break out of the prior week's peak. Get above 365, get above 375 billion to do something. If you're going to do something, has to be there. Now, there's examples, and we'll look at some of the big tech stocks that are showing things. Certainly, they're in a great position, but we still has to prove itself. Here's total DeFi index as well. Remember, beautiful deep crab. Just read it. Where are you? You're retesting that massive XA level. You've held here amazingly 6, almost 7 weeks. So give me one bar, one big breakout bar to get this thing going. And if it's a 3 bar or 3 week range, prior 3 bars, you need to get above 45 billion, almost a 10% pop. But that's what you need to do, and need to do it probably by the end of the week. This has to be the week. You held the low last week. The prior week was the low, was the retest low. Now give me a 3 bar breakout this week or next week. Then you get something out of these lows. 1 or 2 more. 1 or 2 more. Here's Cosmos. All right, I find this thing holding. Oh, that's not the. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here you go. Cosmos. Go. I think it's a weekly chart. Well, daily you're at the crab, but interesting thing about Cosmos is that you're trying to fail the bat pattern at around $11. Obviously, the low at 8. I think there's a weekly there here. Let me see this. 1 second. Bear with me. Hold on. Where's the Cosmos chart? Maybe it was daily. It's this. Here you go. It's this bat pattern. Sorry about that. This bat pattern just triggered in the last couple of days at $11, call it. Checked back on, I guess that was Thursday of last week. You triggered. You checked back. Today's Tuesday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday. Thursday was the check back. And then on Sunday, you had the first 2 bar confirmation. So Cosmos, look, even if you shot this little reaction, let's say Bitcoin crypto wants to pop, we're in a nice reactive segment. Gun it to 13.15, which is $1 and change higher, maybe as high as like 14. Real nice. I mean, you got back-to-back patterns. What do those back-to-back patterns tell me? Yes, you had a bat pattern. It went sideways. Looks like this thing's going to fail eventually, and you form a bullish bat, bullish HSI against the bearish pattern that says higher for now. And that's held up better than most. I mean, back in June, that was 5. Keep an eye on that one. There's a number of these that are like that, super early stages. They need, a couple more days before they can get going out of this whole zone. Of course, Binance. That was probably the one I wanted to see. Here you go with HSI checking back. Your type 1 is over. Type 1 is over here at 256, but here's the confirmation. That sets you up for the return move. Go up 297, run to 300? I think so. And probably now in some kind of retest. We can be as conservative as possible and say hop level is resistance. Okay, target 1 down here is support. at 256.67. We've been talking about that for a few weeks now. And with the HSI check back, 2-day follow through, all of that, you have at least a run in progress. Back to 300, that helps crypto big time. That helps it enormously. So it looks like things are starting to come back where it's been really a difficult time. No doubt, the crypto winter has been difficult. Last one. Here's something I'm looking at as well for crypto. Been just keeping my eye on this thing forever. This is Brave. I think weekly here. Hold on. Weekly, what is it? There you go. Deep Crab. Keep an eye on it. It's a type 2. Super delayed. Okay. But another one where I'm looking for, give me 2 lows. Give me a 3-bar bullish reversal. At least for another possible speculative move. Doing nothing right now, but I'd be looking at the 26 area. Maybe if this is a really ugly, dips down to 23. Should not violate 23 or even 22. But this thing is scraping. And it's, in terms of the ones that were the speculative favorites, that this one's up there. So eye on that. Eye on a few more. Sure, Jared. Last one you got me for Filecoin. I'll look at that. Here's Filecoin. Look, that's been a tough one. Here's beautiful patterns, though. Okay, maybe I should dismiss my sentiments, I suppose, and just read the chart. Hey, it's a deep crab with a bullish bat that just had confirmation and a check back. Right there, there's the confirmation. Check back 1, 2. Today is day 2. So thank you for this. You must have the software. But there you go. Filecoin. Yeah, okay. I think there's better places in crypto than something like this. This is super speculative. But you have everything you want to see there with the bat pattern. And notice, okay, this is where it mathematically completed. But that's the first confirmation that we have after the pattern completes. Really important concept. Not surprised to see a delayed effect. But boy, markets keep raging. Listen, I'm going to get to the macro here in a second, but S&P is up 50. NASDAQ is up 240. Dow's up almost 300. This market is, I think it could really blow some doors if it gets running. And if you're looking at some options, some things I'll get to in a minute, we want to look at some call options. Just play it out 30 days, 6 weeks. If it's going to run, it's going to run now. At least a counter trend bounce. And maybe with these kind of setups we're seeing in crypto, I'm not having to force it. I'm just bumping through patterns, bumping through crypto, and we see back-to-back patterns. So we have to go with it. It's a difficult climate, maybe one of the most difficult fundamental environments that you could imagine. But for now, I'm willing to say, all right, maybe we get into a window here. And we'll see. And if it's a dud, we'll know. I mean, we can start the counter on all of these like this. There's the check back, bang, turns green. Talk to me in 30 days. Let's see what it can do in 30 days. So by November 20, a setup like that, what are you going to do? Final one for crypto that I have to get to today is Bitcoin, because is this going to go down in history? Here's the shark, and it's a type 2 shark that's now ready to bust. Now ready. Why? It's the smaller pattern inside the bigger zone. But take a look. There's the reaction up to target 1. We know we are by definition, we're at the type 2 of the shark. Hop level at 18,000. Shark zone is basically 19,005. Now what are we going to do? 3-bar breakout, please. Let this pattern with the type 2, notice how even in all of this, big deep crab pattern, okay, go sideways for months and months, then do a small shark and still want to do the 1-2. Still want to do type 1, type 2. Now we're type 2. 19.8, certainly not under 18,000. I think that's your firm stop under 18. Just nothing there. And I think this is just could be a reactive move out of the zone or to the top range of the zone. Maybe you could get to 21 or 22,000. Wouldn't that be something? Be amazing. And this basing action that's going on at 19,000, we're going to see really if this is one for the record books. If this is what like a silent floor looks like. Is this a silent floor for Bitcoin? 19,000. In the same way like 4,000, 5,000 on the last run was. We know the deal. There's only two options. It's either 19 or 11,000. There's no in between. For now, take the reaction. Look for a little reaction, a little finally relief rally. Yeah, it does feel weird, Dave. Dave says it feels weird to get long. I know. That's probably when you know you're probably in a better spot than before. Crypto Traders Island. Hi, Scott. Thanks so much for your time and videos. Is there any chance to see your yearly results according to your analysis? Yes and no. I think everyone knows the kind of things that I do here. I think it's no surprise. People that especially went with me on the crypto run last year know the kind of numbers that I did. But I'm not here to post to prove trading results when we do it every day. So, take that for what it's worth, because what we're here presenting is the framework and a model of strategies for everybody to have an empowerment to make their own decisions no matter what. I didn't want to get sidetracked by a comment like this, but again, I think it's important. Crypto traders, we should have another discussion about this. What do you need to see from me? It's a good question. What do you need to see from me to prove what we're doing here is worth your time? I think really it's for each person to decide. Is it worth your time? Have I proved myself with all the work we've done and software and everything, or do I need to go that step further and show you $1 million trading statement? I can, but that's something where I think a lot of traders that are asking that kind of question, you're not confident in your methodology, and I hope your exposure here, what we do here, can give you the confidence. If you need to see some kind of results from me, probably the only way to do that, especially in the United States, is through CPA, third-party broker, a third-party CPA. But I hear you. I didn't want to leave that question open, but I think it's something that a lot of people want to see it. But again, the flip side, you guys see what we do here every day. It's all good though. I want everyone to think for themselves. I present the strategies, hope to highlight the best situations so that, I can facilitate your analysis, but you still have to make your own decisions. Check out, let's jump over to the major markets, because this is quite a time right now. Look, what are the major markets going to do? We're reading the framework here. And so what I've been saying is, let's analyze. Let's highlight, for example, stuff like S&P 500, which is following through after a clear type 2. We've applied that model. We've identified the confirmation, the 2-bar follow through, all of that. Basically saying, there it is. Right in here at the second bar, we should see follow through from here, and we're getting it. So let's apply the framework. And this is the process that you need to learn, or everyone needs to work through and walk through, to be able to position yourself in the right areas to ride the market. And that's the key. I mean, this positioning here and where we are currently. S&P 500, the futures chart, probably the strongest of all of them because of the confirmation, check back, everything ideal. Now let's just line up where could this possibly go? Hop level, target 2 up at 42.81. That's an obvious algorithm generated resistance level as the top range. We have this pattern at 41.35. That's a nice gap to shoot. We could have the retest of that bearish pattern, but all of that tells us we need to be leaning to at least the long side for now. A little continuation follow through, maybe next week or two. Maybe this thing can get going. We got some big announcements tonight. So be mindful of that. But hey, as I said, I've been mentioning, especially with on the premium gold and silver, 3 ideas. You guys know how many ideas I've been putting out recently. Even with, I had a problem last week, but we even updated those, and a lot of those have worked out incredibly well, and I'll stick with those. I'll just share this. Look, if you have some qualms about this market, hit some of the options. Reduce your risk. Maybe don't buy the stock. Maybe play the option out. Because if we're going to get the move, it's now. It is now. And if it's a dud or goes sideways from here, we've got 20 days to figure that out. Sign Selections is asking. Thank you. I've learned so much. Appreciate that. I do have one question. What's your reaction if a move goes right past your target, upside specifically? Well, listen, if we're looking for a target, like let's say we are lining up, just look at the first objective we had off of the crab on S&P 500. Let me remove the bearish pattern. Let's look at the bullish. Okay, here's confirmation. There's the first test, okay? Now, our job is to go from basically terminal bar to target 1 or wherever HSI shows up. So there's the first arrow, and then here is, I think that's what you mean. You're targeting this area as the completion of the type 1 reversal, a reaction, sorry, but it blows through the HSI. That's still okay. That's still, and as you can see, a great spot to be optimizing those reactions. The one way to think about it, and especially if you're, let's say you're waiting for that and it blows through and it just keeps on going, listen, the only decision you need to make after the fact is the trend line breakout or breakdown. Like if you hit your 1-2 targets on a reaction and then it breaks down the obvious trend line, you're done. You're out. A 3-bar reversal finishes the move. So be mindful of that. That's the reaction. And we talked about this back in August. Talked about this in September, the type 2 return. Let's jump really quick to NASDAQ. And even better, let's go specifically to Tesla. Tesla's now in business, folks. 223 trying on the weekly, trying to get out of the zone and could trigger, is triggering now. There you go. And so if this is the type 2, which I think it is, you know, you've got a lot to go. Oh, let me get to the other platform because I know I don't want to get into it. I won't even talk about it, but check it out. Look at Tesla. And remember, there's been a handful of stocks we have been in front of the whole time. Here's the weekly on Tesla. There you go. Triggering now. HSI is triggering now, will be official by Friday's close. As long as we hold up here, you know, but that's, despite all the news, everything, Tesla has been spot on. Type 1, type 2 return. Now type 2 reversal. And we go for target 2 up to 335. Keep an eye on that. There's been, like I said, these collection of individual markets have been key, and they're big ones. It's stuff like that. It's stuff like, here's Qualcomm. Another one, killed, you know, decimated. And it's a beautiful type 2 bat pattern. This is another one. I would be looking at Qualcomm. Pretty much trying to set up to get out of this zone. Maybe you wait for the trend line break in a few days. But real close. And notice, forget everything that's going on. Let's just identify what's happening at the levels. It's insane. You know, look at the type 1, type 2 dynamics here on Qualcomm. Look, pattern completes there, but we don't even register until all the way down here. HSI, check back, and then go. If you waited 2 bars, you're like there. And down here, you're looking for target 1. Up to 152. There's HSI, comes back in, puts a ceiling in at 152, all the way back down. Now, look at this. I think I mentioned this the other day. Look, we're looking for a check back on Qualcomm, retesting, type 2. And this is a big one. Chips, Micron, other semis, they all have this. There's the check back. But here is the second bar. So it's, offset, but this is where the larger development is happening. This is something new I've been talking about with HSI. I think it helps. I really do. And maybe you give up a little bit of price in certain situations. But listen, if you get that second bar after the check back, you're getting it at a better development spot. More likely to be taking off in the desired direction after that comes together. Again, there's the signal. Here's the check back point. But we don't even execute until we see 2 green candles, which is 1 and 2, which puts that execution more like 112.86. And once that's established, these lows are it. Your stop could be under 110, 109. Excuse me, 1 second. So a lot of this stuff that's come together, really nice position. I want to take a look at this. I want to be on top of these. Here's the other one, Microsoft, firmly above the 241 top range of the zone with target 1 likely. 249, 250 easily by today. We have earnings. It is a type 2. And I've mentioned this just last week. Here's the confirmation. There's the check back. 1, 2. There's the second one. All right, so that second bar candle came in a tough, not in an ideal area. But this looks like a shakeout. And 270 at target 1, I think is, I've got some 260 calls. So play that up to 270, 287 is target 2. And we could still be in a bearish trend. Just get some perspective here. We could do the 1, 2 and come right back down. We'll see what happens when we get up there. But for now, it's an ideal type 2 in Microsoft. It's a choice, top tier market, top tier stock. By definition, at a reversal buy, long reversal. And it's, look, we're all getting it's a difficult time, but it's almost like hitting the funny bone. Trying to buy it here, and it feels so weird. But you're there. So, again, those are the key stocks. Those are the big markets we've been focused on for a while. Now, still have to get back over to interest rates briefly. Don't want to spend too much time on there. But look at the 2-year. Okay, on the weekly, HSI is trying to come out of the zone. Look what's going on in the last 2 days with this rollover. This is significant. This is only with the software, folks. You're only going to be able to know this with Harmonic Pattern Collection. And so think about this way. We've been looking for this rollover, this inflection. If we can get the close, if the 2-year can close under 445 and stay under here, under 450 by next week, you could have a temporary pause in rates. What does that mean for stocks? They go straight up. Even though it's relatively still high, just the short-term pause here. Like, let's say the 2-year yield could go back to 4% on a little bit of a pullback. Yeah, rates would go straight up. So this signal, HSI trying to come out of the zone, critical. And then the 10-year yield, which remember, all right, has been this bat pattern all along. And now it's coming out. Look, it looks like it's going to give us a pretty sharp inflection, because once that usually gives you the pivot, then you start to roll over in a serial fashion. At a minimum, pause, go sideways, which I think what you're going to do, probably dip back under 4%, which would be a great psychological takeout move. So listen, we're trying to anticipate this HSI to trigger by Friday, and that's going to be just incredibly significant for a continuation of what's going on. This relief rally, so far so good. Okay. And then finally, the other tidbit of ancillary markets we've been looking at, VIX, that too, it registered a bearish HSI last week, and we, as crazy as things were, and everyone was hoping we could get maybe a move up to 40 to signal the end of maybe this sell-off. We got a bearish signal, and now VIX is coming off, which is another reading that will give the market some room, and we could come back. I think I said this yesterday, even last week, come back, retest VIX at 21, 22. That's kind of crazy VIX reading for a market that is down 25% and still down 25% for the year. Yeah, the yields are going to be it. Absolutely. Vlad's asking, and it's a great question, before pumping, do we usually see a check back of the confirmation? No, we don't. It's not all the time. But we're lining up those scenarios. You're waiting for those to complete and letting the other ones go by. Now, again, the other little twist that I've been adding to this is waiting. If you want to wait, look for that second bar after the check back. Here's the Dow Diamonds. And I want to go to interesting stock I posted the other day. The diamonds came back. Look at the butterfly. All right, we talked about this. It's a type 2 of the deep grab. The butterfly that we mentioned had ideal. There's your confirmation. There's the check back. But here's a situation where if there's the confirmation on the diamonds, okay, the second one comes in there. What do? Do you chase it? No. Wait for it. Wait for maybe a secondary opportunity or a smaller time frame. Some of these you're not going to get the perfect spot where you're there all the time in every market. But if you're waiting for those with confirmation, you're going to be in a situation where the larger development is possible. That's why ever since this retest and then the big candle, the big response to send it into a type 1 on the butterfly was pretty significant. For the Dow, we can just ride this until the next HSI signal, which it is overbought now, but expanding. So we should see this thing continue higher this week. I mean, next day, 2 days, 3 days. And look at amplified RSI. That's expanding. Standard RSI, not there yet. So probably some more upside where even, look, even if this goes for up to target 2, that's 32,200. Right now, 31,700. I think that happens with yields, and I think what happens if we get a big blast-off move, that could really set this into a different tone, where you would then get the short covering to come in. I mean, it's something like that. You would almost want to see something like, here, let me see if I can give it to you like this. Yeah. Some kind of big green candle, and then it just continues higher. That's what we need to watch out for. And if we, HSI continues to expand, like let's say tomorrow is another up day, Then you're going to get above 100 reading on HSI. You're at 99.50 right now. That's significant. That would say, hey, a couple more days, or maybe even the end of the week, we're going to continue higher. And I'll show you, let's update Coca-Cola. That was one of the 3 ideas I posted and mentioned, kind of shared that. Listen, look at the Gartley here. Okay. Gartley up to 59.05. Look at this. What's that, folks? That's a type 1 reaction. And this is what we traced out just the other day. So looking at Coke, it's a massive Gartley. Love it. A year long. I mean, I think that's the kind of ideal pattern, but still be thinking reaction, come up. We'll retest for the reversal maybe later. Let's see how this responds. But today it hit it, got rejected. This, and again, these are some boring stocks, but here's another one, J&J. Daily, big patterns here, and they're responding. Look at that Gartley, J&J. Look, when we've got big daily patterns like that, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not fighting the market. I think you get some room here. That's a type 1 reaction. That will continue until we get at least HSI to come in. It's almost there now. But you see how these patterns are playing out? Coming together quite nicely. And then here's something I did want to update on. Listen, Netflix. A couple people sent me a note. We were pretty clear. This is a type 2 that needed confirmation, that never got the confirmation. And now there's confirmation checking back today. Where'd that go? Hold on. Here, let me bring it up on the TradingView platform. Looks like this. Okay, and it's hitting today. It's checking back today. Nothing's changed on Netflix. It just blew through on the retest much higher. There you go. You're up 10. Okay, but look. The daily is a shark or a crab. Looks like this. There you go. No confirmation yet. Where's HSI? And go back and look. Just last week, we were talking about the fact that the type 1 reaction was over. Okay, and we were coming for the return up to 252. What did we do? We blew right through. But there's nothing, there's no HSI up here that would have triggered that trade. Look, there's HSI. It hasn't even registered overbought yet. Higher than I thought, but no confirmation on the type 2. That's why we do what we do with that. Wait for confirmation, especially the type 2. What does HSI stand for? It means Harmonic Strength Index. So I'm going to use that. If you don't know what anything means, or you want more information, please go to harmonictrader.com. And all of that, probably everything that is available that we talk about on the basic members page, you can access Harmonic Trading Volume 3. So if you want reference material, click on this book. So if it's HSI or if it's type 1 or type 2, I would say all of that is available in this book, Volume 3. And the other shout out is get with the TradingView platform for Harmonic Pattern Collection by sending your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. 14-day free trial, and please take the free trials before subscribing. Really important. Thursday, we'll be back. I'll give away a couple books. I might even have a volume 2 to give away. We'll get into that Thursday. Oh, someone showed up today and typed in a volume 3 when they first got here. We only give away books on Thursdays. So again, great move in Netflix. I really don't care about it. I'm still looking for confirmation. I think there's other better plays to look at. Here's another one. NVIDIA. Look, is it going to try to get up? NVIDIA is a weekly. There you go. HSI, but that's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for Micron. Here's Micron. Still in the zone here, and this isn't too much off the lows. Hitting target 1 right now. You can come back to 53. That would be it. That would be the type 2 for the whole move, and that would be 2 of 2. This being really the first reaction from June up to 66, and then come all the way back down to the hop. Squeeze between 49 and 66 on Micron, but it's a big area. And look at the damage here on the weekly. You're talking 50% haircut. They're close. You got a lot of things shaping up for reactions. So let's not get overly excited, but I'm just talking reactions off of these points here. A number of them we've already pointed out. Others are, some are slower than others, but a lot of the beaten down techs and some of the more speculative moves are stabilizing. Oh, I did want to mention this one. Here's something kind of angry. I missed this one, but PayPal. So on the daily chart, one of the things I've noticed with a lot of the software matches are the smaller patterns. Here's PayPal, okay, on the daily. Totally destroyed. I mean, major cycle destruction, all-time reset, I guess, 886. But where in this area? Down here, your low on PayPal was 68, 65, somewhere between 70 and 100. Is this an opportunity down here? Well, let's go to the daily. And you do have bat pattern that trying to go back and retest the prior highs from August. I think that's not a bad spot. 79 was low. You're almost 10 above, but it did register a bat pattern recently. I'm not doing anything yet with this because I would prefer to have a retest. Maybe if PayPal could come back one more time to 79 and give me confirmation, that would be the type 2. That would be a better, bigger setup. I know we have earnings coming up. What's that? Next week. Keep an eye on that one. There's several of these that have earnings coming up in the next week or two, and they're you get a retest, okay, that's where you hit it. If it doesn't retest and doesn't give you ideal confirmation, let it go. Here's one, just update this. This was a 3 ideas long ago, starting to really work for us, Palantir. Okay, I'm long this. I mentioned this a while back. Somewhere around $8, $7.50. That's in business now. And we go to target 1, 965. 965. There's a lot of these. Check out premium members, gold, silver members. Do check out the most recent update. We put up a lot of new ideas recently. Hey, Cosmic, we did Solana and we did crypto early on, so please check the beginning of this session for crypto. We did a lot of crypto today, but I did want to highlight some of these individual markets. We've got big earnings today, coming up today. Here's one other one that I'm watching closely that I've hated for a long time, but now I'm going to have to look at it. It's Meta. Has earnings, came all the way down to this hop level. Okay, it's a deep crab on the daily. 116 is the absolute low end. You have this last HSI here trying to stabilize. So I'm going to look at this. I still think maybe something more like the weekly is probably the better time frame for this, but look what's going on with Meta on the weekly. So early in the move, but you're down at low levels, close to scraping the hop. Can we spend another week, 2 weeks, and then pop above that? Get a 3-bar breakout, something like, try to break out of the zone there. Meanwhile, holding down here. I have not liked this at all until now. I'm going to look. I'm going to watch what happens here over the next week. Wait, I'm not doing anything with earnings. Not interested. I'm talking if this is going to be a bottom, if that pattern is going to be a reactionary low, you're probably looking at it or the early stages of it. So let's not get complacent. It's a tough market, tough narratives getting fed across the board, but you've got a lot of green shoots, as they say, becoming sprouts, at least for now. At least it's not going to be a complete swan dive into the end of the year. For now, a few weeks, 30 days. Talk to me right before Thanksgiving. Talk to me up until the election in 10 days, 2 weeks from now. Could rally up into something like that. So stay tuned. Come on back Thursday, folks. We'll give away some books. Again, first person in on Thursday typing V3, you'll win a book. And then I'll give away a volume 2. Until then, as always, have a great one. Go get them. If you have any questions, get with Harmonic Trader, please. And sign up on the Discord. Contact Miss Stephanie if you have questions or need help. All of that is on the basic members page. Until then, see you Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. As always, go get them.